Friends, hello to everyone. This video is about how not to spoil your puppy. First of all, it should be noted that a puppy is like a white sheet of paper. We need to have a very clear idea of what we want to put on this sheet. Every week, every day, every hour, and every minute, the puppy gets a new experience, and this experience forms a picture that will be drawn on this sheet. It is very important to understand that whether you're doing something with the dog or not doing something, the picture continues to be created. Every day, every minute, the puppy learns something new, and if you do not take part in this action, a very interesting abstraction may appear on this sheet. And in order for there to be no abstraction, but a clear picture that you imagined when you took the puppy, you must consistently perform some actions. First, let's note what we want to see in front of us when the dog is an adult. Is it our friend and companion? Is it our guard? Maybe it will be a sports dog, or maybe a kinesiotherapist dog. It is very important to decide on this issue before buying a puppy, because when you think about it, your focus when choosing a puppy will already be formed, and you will know which dog is suitable for this purpose. For example, there is no point in taking a Labrador if you want a dog for defense. It also makes no sense to get a Dachshund if you want to be equestrian sports. Let's suppose that there is already a puppy. And what to do with it so as not to spoil it, because every appeal you make, every interaction you make, every contact you make will shape it. Now I will give example of interactions that spoil your relationship. For example, you constantly forbid the dog to chew something. A small puppy, his teeth are cutting, he studies the world in such a way that he bites everything. When he starts biting everything around you and you start saying the no command that you haven't practiced it before, you start forbidding, you start dominating. The same at home, the same on the street. Thus, a dog studying the world understands that you are an obstacle for him. On the way to explore the world, on the way to entertainment, and on the way to everything interesting. Constantly practicing various banning commands, we completely kill the puppy's initiative. And if we want the dog to be our friend, our companion, able to learn fun, learn various tricks and commands, then we want to see in front of us an initiative dog that will show us different behaviors and behaviors that we can reinforce. If we constantly prohibit everything, block everything, the dog loses the initiative. The dog will either be phlegmatic or simply distance himself from us, because he will understand that every time he wants to have fun, you forbid it for him. It is very important to understand that the period of feral education is simply extremely important. Many people want to wait for the dog to grow up, gain intelligence, and when he starts to listen to them. But in 99% of cases, this does not work out. The first 6 months of life of any creature are fundamental for the formation of certain habits, for the formation of certain behavior, the formation of relationship with anything, relations with other animals, relations with owners, relations with the surrounding world, and realization that what I, the dog, am doing in this world. One of the most important rules is to start training your puppy as soon as it's possible. Do not wait until he's 2, 3, 5, 6 months old. If there's an opportunity to influence the puppy from the first days, Ask the kennels or the breeder who has the puppy to do something with it. Manipulate it in some way, play it with it in a specific way. It will all be beneficial. When the puppy already gets to your home, it is very important to put aside work, put aside your affairs, put aside possibly planned trips, and devote time to raising your dog. This time is very important. It is impossible to make it so that, for example, you don't work out for the first 6 months and then catch up, because the first 6 months of your puppy's life is a period when certain connections between neurons are emerging. If this is neglected, these bonds may form in a combination that is not entirely convenient for you, and then you will have to spend a lot of time retraining the dog. It is very important to place the dog in the environment in which he should work in the future when he is an adult. For example, if it's a hunting dog, it is very good if he will see adult dogs hunting from childhood. If it's a sports dog, it is very good if he will see dogs working in the field from childhood. If you want your dog to follow commands, you have to teach him certain skills from childhood. At first, these are not full-fledged commands. We do not demand any kind of obedience from the puppy, but we deal with native and leading exercises, which lay the foundation of communication with the person. The principle of working for pieces, for rewards, for toys, or for just some praise. And gradually, all our interaction and practice will form the character, skills, and behavior of our dog, which we draw, like you've noticed, with a pencil. Many people think that they will be able to train a dog instinctively. Well, for example, when we're walking down the street and our dog grabs something, a person runs, shouts "No!", slaps the dog on the face, pulls something out of her mouth, and thinks that this is normal. She ate something and I forbid it for her. So I'm trying to unlearn her from picking the food on the street. But believe me, in 90% of all cases, the next time the dog will either grab and run away, or try to eat faster than you can react to it. And in most cases, the dog succeeds, and you don't solve the problem that way. Therefore, before teaching a dog something, you need to understand how it will happen. And at your service, for example, there is my channel. At your service are various books, magazines, even pages in social networks, or some canine groups. You have to figure this out, and thereby you will be able to greatly improve the quality of your life and your dog's life for the next 10 to 15 years. Listen to what I'm trying to tell you. Correct work in the first year of your dog's life will make the next 10 to 15 years comfortable and pleasant, and vice versa. What we haven't worked on, it will creep up on us throughout our lives with the very unpleasant things. Do not rush to draw conclusions that your dog already knows something. Experienced dog trainers spend a lot of time in order for the dog to acquire a certain skill, and when even they see that there are behavioral traits that they need, they spend a lot of time working on consolidating the skill. The majority of people who have adopted a puppy have spent 2 days teaching it to sit or give a paw and are sure that the dog already knows how to do it, and should do it for them at the very first request. This is a great illusion, and many people suffer from it. We feed the dog every day. We walk the dog every day. We play and talk with the dog every day. If you cannot arrange all these things that I have listed, there will be problems. It is impossible to work with food if you do not learn to feed the dog correctly from the first days. There will be problems with walks if you do not learn to walk properly with your puppy from the first days. If your dog understands that he knows how to manipulate you, if your dog understands that he should avoid you on walks and ask for something at home, he will do it. And I have already filmed almost 700 video lessons on how to treat your puppy, but even people who come to me directly as students for some reason cannot understand that it is very important to do everything right from the first days. It is much more difficult to recycle. It is much more difficult to do everything after the year. The first year is very important, and especially the first 6 months. This is the moment when the dog's brain grows, when it is formed, when all the habits, all the skills, and the dog's attitude to the whole environment are formed. Ask yourself a test question. Am I feeding my dog correctly? Am I walking the dog correctly? Am I playing with the dog correctly? At least these 3 questions. If you can answer them, it will be much easier for you. With a small puppy, the main thing is not to forbid too much. You can ban anything at any time. The main thing is to teach the dog and show him how he can live in this world, how he can communicate with the person, and that despite all this, he'll first of all receive his own benefit.